Rev up your engines!
Well, used EV prices are starting to crash down where they should be. Now, of course, some of it was facilitated by Hertz getting all those Teslas and then realizing, gee, people don't want to rent them and I got to sell 20,000 of them. That's going to make it go down. But it's more than just that. It comes down to that the people that bought electric cars are getting rid of them because they see them as a grave inconvenience, or they had problems with getting them repaired when they broke. The insurance rates are higher. And so not only is the market being flooded by all these Teslas that Hertz is unloading, but a lot of people are trying to unload the cars because they tried them out and they decided, hey, they don't like them. I read an article the other day that said 20% of the people in California that got electric cars have gotten rid of them. They didn't like them for whatever reason, right? They tried it out and decided, this isn't for me. So now used EVs are selling for $1,000 less than equivalent gas-powered vehicles. When people don't want something, the price drops. Now, during coronavirus, the price was artificially inflated. Right? People were paying more for used Teslas than a new one because they couldn't get a new one. But now reality is set in. People don't want the new ones. And if they don't want the new ones, they certainly don't want the used ones either. And of course, buying a used EV could be one of the biggest mistakes you ever made when you see the price of the batteries. No one knows how to fix them. The guys that do work on them charge extravagant rates because they know, hey, hardly anybody knows how to fix these things. I do. I can charge them whatever they want. What are they going to know? They can't fix it themselves. This high voltage, you could kill yourself working on it, so you better well be a trained electrician if you're going to mess with these things. This is just the beginning. For example, in February of this year, the electric cars were $265 cheaper used than the gasoline version car, right? In May, it was $2,657 less. It was 10 times cheaper. Instead of $267 you're saving $2,657. And these are conservative figures. These are figures you get from used car dealers who always tend to not tell the truth about what they sell used cars for. They want to inflate the value so they can get more money when they sell them. That's the problem with any of these books that give you value of used cars. It's based on mainly what the used car dealers tell them they're selling the used cars for. And of course, they're not going to tell you the truth. Get a whole bunch more money for the car than they paid for it, so they want to look like they're worth a lot more money than they are. That's just how it goes. It kind of reminds me of something I've learned years ago. Blockbuster movies. Oh, this weekend, this movie sold millions of seats, blah, 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 blah. That's based on what the movie theaters tell them. And they're not going to tell you, gee, only 10 people came to watch this new blockbuster movie. Of course, they'll make up figures, and then it looks like a lot more people were there. And the same things with used cars. The prices are just absolutely inflated here in the United States by that system. Interesting enough, when I went to England, used cars are dirt cheap because they have a different system. They sell them for what they're actually worth, and you can get a nice looking used car that's 7, 8 years old for peanut money for like £2,000-3,000 because that's what they're actually worth. But here in the United States, they got this fake system to make them look more valuable than they actually are. Well, in this case, even the system is showing the electric car value is going down the toilet in the used car market. Well, Ford's lack of quality continues. Ford is now asking some Mustang V8 owners to swap their engine head or they're going to risk the warranty on the car. Turns out that one of the heads they didn't make right. Ford has initiated a harvest program. They call it harvest, yeah. Make it sound like, oh, fun, harvesting apples, right? No. It's to investigate an issue with the left side cylinder head on V8 Mustangs. If you don't participate in the program, you can lose your warranty. So they're telling you. You have your engine taken apart, and they got to replace the left head on the engine. It's like open heart surgery for a car, right? They have to remove the left head and replace the exhaust camshaft on that side. Their quality is so bad, they can't even make V8 engines right anymore. These were all built in 2024, and it's 2024 now. Like I say, Ford's quality, they got real problems, They lose money with electric cars. They can't build the regular cars right. They got a serious problem. Not only do they call it a harvesting program, but listen to their lawyer-encoded wording. Ford wants to, quote, evaluate the field performance and functionality of the left-hand engine cylinder head. Investigate. How about investigating your quality control and doing something about it? Hey, they're closing the gate after the cows have left the field, eh? Ford's got some serious problems there. Racine says, car overheating. Me and my friend switched the thermostat in 02 Mitsubishi Eclipse. It leaked. Thought it was a gasket. Replaced it. Then it leaked. We thought it was a bolt. And it still leaks. What should we do? All right, well, replace the thermostat housing. I don't know if that one's made out of plastic or not, or if it's made out of pot metal. Whatever it is, it's cheaply made, right? Just get another house. You can get them aftermarket cheaply enough. If you really don't want it to leak, you got to clean on the intake there, you got to clean that real clean with like a wire brush to make it perfectly smooth. Put the gasket on, but also put on silicone gasket sealer for water pumps on both sides of the gasket, then bolt it on. Then let it dry for like 6-8 hours before you start driving it to make sure it's totally sealed. Then it won't leak anymore. Or if you want, I don't even use gaskets on them anymore. I use stuff called the right stuff. Permatex makes the best sealer in the world. You clean both sides, you put Permatex, the right stuff on it. It's thick. You bolt it on, and by the time you put it together, you don't have to wait for it to dry because it dries so fast. Then you can just drive away. Permatex, the right stuff. It's a great gasket maker. It's expensive, but what the heck? It lasts. Well, Hertz continues with screwing over their own clientele. Hertz fined a guy $436 before they even rented a car. The previous renter of that car ran a red light, and there was a ticket for it. It said that the renter ran a red light at 2:33 p.m. Well, the guy who rented the car at 2:33 p.m. was on a flight on American Airlines, flying through the air, so he wasn't driving the car, right? It was the previous owner. They also charged him for another day's rental, but of course, he wasn't in the car at the time. So, get this. Hertz agreed with them about the rental start time, and they removed an extra day's charge, but they still refused to budge on the red light ticket and the fees. This company's messed up, obviously, right? They're bureaucratic idiots that work at the places. And then, oh no, you ran a red light. Guy, look, I was on an airplane. And they admitted that, okay, he didn't rent it the day before because he was flying on an airplane. But they refused to do anything about the ticket, which he didn't do, right? It was the previous person who was responsible for it. I had the same thing happen to me here in Rhode Island. I got a house, right? I bought it. And then a couple months later, I finally get the electric bill, right? And I get like a $250 electric bill for the month before I owned the house. I contacted the guy I bought the house from. He was a real scumbag. He said, it's your house now. I'm not paying your electric bill. I said, you're the one who lived there that month. I wasn't even there, right? But I had to pay it because the electric company just, that's the address. You got to pay the bill. So I paid the bill. But I'll tell you, I'm still fuming about it, right? This guy was an absolute scumbag. And the weirdest thing was he taught at the Naval College. What a scumbag, right? He works for the armed forces, and he wouldn't pay his last electric bill. He said, oh, it's your house now, it's not mine. Even though he'd lived there during that month, right? I wasn't there. He owned the house, but he refused to pay it. I mean, I wish nothing but bad luck to this guy. Some people are just true scumbags. That's the way the world goes, right? But in this case, the scumbag was Hertz. He wouldn't have got to pay for a red light ticket, and he didn't even have the car at the time. I mean, it's bad enough in the past that they were having the police arrest people saying it was a stolen car because their paperwork was wrong. The car had been returned to Hertz. Then they rented it to somebody else. That person they rented it to gets stopped by the police in a stolen car. Some people were thrown in jail. That cost Hertz some serious money, though. The class action suit that Hertz settled, they paid $168 million for 364 claims against them. So it cost them $460,000 per customer. So if you're treated bad by Hertz, hey, join a class action suit. Maybe you can rent a car from Hertz, they'll screw you over, and then you can screw them over $460,000 in a class action suit. Hey, who knows? These companies, I know, they're all dead from the neck up. They obviously have learned nothing. Giving a guy a ticket for a car he didn't even have. It just boggles the mind, the poor quality of this company Hertz. I mean, they went bankrupt. Maybe they should have just gone out of business, let somebody else take over. Well, here's one I love. See that car smashed into a steel spike that's in the ground? This guy got even. He lives right as a school. And all the parents are jostling, and they kept running into his fence, hitting the post and knocking his fence down, right? So the guy decides, I'm going to put an iron post and a fence there, but paint it brown so it looks like a wooden one, right? So now, the yuppies that are picking up their kids at the school, they've smashed their own cars up. Aha! He put an iron post there, right? Now, the first driver that ran into his post knocked on the man's door, demanded compensation, as did the next few. They wanted him to pay for the damage to their car because they ran into his fence post on his property, right? He just laughed at him and said, hey, you ran into my fence post. Ha! You didn't fix it when you broke it before. Too bad. Fix your own car. And to top it all off, they had to mount a 4-inch curb to get over it to get to his fence. And some people on Reddit said, hey, you should go in further. You should say, could you show me your proof of insurance? Because you damaged my fence. You're going to have to pay for it now. But they had the Basconi to say, your fence damaged my car. I want you to pay for it after I ran into it. Talk about people that have a mindset from who knows where, the woke generation, right? Ha ha! The guy came up with a solution of people knocking into his fence while they're picking up their kids, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. Sure did a number on that guy's car. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.